Welcome back, my students, to a brand new episode of Comic Class. In today's lesson, guys, we're going to be going over if Delta were to have fought Madara in the war arc before he became the Tentoshi Turkey, could she have won? Or if you want to look at it the other way, could Madara have won? And yeah, I thought this was a pretty cool matchup that I have heard people talk about, in videos and also like polls and stuff like that, or even just comment sections, stuff like that of videos where people go back and forth on who they think would win between Madara and Delta. Now, I believe a lot of people put Madara in his Tinto Shinchuriki state against Delta, but on this video, I'm going to make the argument on why I believe Madara could beat Delta in a fight, and why I believe that he probably would win that fight. So before we get started going over their stuff, like their speed, their tech, and their durability and strength, I want to say that if you want to support the channel for more Naruto versus battles, I might do more Naruto versus battles of Naruto characters against Naruto characters, or you can check out my Naruto characters versus comic book universe, or comic books in general. I already have like 3 videos out on that playlist of pitting comic book characters against Naruto's verse. But if you want to get more of these videos faster, be sure to donate to the Cash App down below, as that helps support the channel and helps me get the videos out faster. And also, if you have a recommendation of a person, a Naruto character you would like to see in one of these versus battles, be it against another Naruto character or against a comic book character, be sure to comment down below. Let me know what Naruto character you want me to look at in the future. But with that out of the way, let's jump right into the topic of today, which is Madara in the war arc, right before he becomes the Tentoshi Turkey against Delta. Now, Delta is a pretty good fighter in hand-to-hand, and I think the first thing we need to talk about is their hand-to-hand combat skills. Now, Delta was able to go toe-to-toe with Hokage Naruto. Now, Naruto throughout the fight is mainly in his base form and doesn't really use his six tails or his Bijou mode, I believe is what it is, against her. Sometimes he uses it, but it's pretty much the same with sometimes him overpowering her. Now, I think this is important because Naruto is a very tricky series to power scale, because you have to assume that either Naruto got weaker because he didn't train as much when he became Hokage. So his Bijou mode, even though he does have the abilities of the other tail beasts, I don't believe that it increases Naruto's power by like a ridiculous amount. With the exception of his Sits Pass mode that he got during the war arc when he fought against Tentoshi Shiraki Madara, but as we saw at the end of Naruto, it seemed like his Sits Pass powers had faded and they were gone. So I'm not factoring in a Sits Pass power in Naruto because that's not what we really see in Boruto. And yeah, so Delta, like I said, sometimes when Naruto really went all out, he was able to beat Delta in hand to hand. And Naruto's hand to hand as an adult is way better than what he was during his own series, so we do need to keep that in mind when we're talking about Delta versus Naruto. But I think this is important because Madara, during the war arc, actually was able to counter, deflect, basically, one of Bijoumo Naruto's Rizengans or Bijou Bomb attacks that he tried hitting Madara with, and Madara just used his Uchiha reflection with his Uchiha fan to basically just knock it back and reflect it back to Naruto. So he was able to easily interact and counter attack basically Naruto, or flip his attack on himself with his Uchiha fan. I think that's very important. It just shows that he has very fast battle reflexes slash battle reaction speed, and that would be very important in his battle with Delta, because again, this is Naruto in his Biju mode. In order to say that this doesn't matter or it's not a factor, you would have to believe that Naruto grew in power and in speed when he was an adult, and I don't believe that he is faster or stronger than what he was in his prime as a kid, because of him not training and stuff like that. Even though he does train a little bit in Boruto, you would have to assume that he really just powered up, and I just don't see that. So, looking at how well Delta did against Bijou Mode and how well Madara did against Bijou Mode, Madara really handled Naruto a lot better. And, granted, this wasn't Naruto when he was very good at hand-to-hand, but Madara himself was very good at hand-to-hand, with the only exception being that Might Guy had to use, like, A-gates in order to make it to where Madara couldn't fight him hand-to-hand, with everything before that, 1 through 7 gates basically being able to be handled by Madara in hand-to-hand. Now, granted, that's when Madara was in his Ten Tails Jinchuriki state, So we do need to keep that in mind that that was when he was Ten Tails, but it wasn't stated that Madara's hand to hand got increased because of the Sage power, Sid's past power. Madara had shown great hand to hand combat during when he was first revived and against the whole entire Shinobi Alliance. That was there when he was revived. So he had very good hand to hand, and the way Kishi portrayed it was that he was as good, if not better, than Might Guy until he used the 8th. So when it comes to hand to hand, be it that he was able to react to a Bijou attack or Rasengan Naruto basically coming at him full speed and easily deflected it back to him, makes me believe that he could fight against Delta in in a sense of their strength basically. Now, in a sense of their durability, uh, Delta has a good amount of durability, but her biggest weakness is that her absorption ability can override her systems and fry them. We saw Madara use things like his giant flame jutsu or a giant fire jutsu to where it took multiple people to basically counteract it with their own water jutsus, basically. So even though Madara doesn't have the same chakra reserves as Naruto, he could try that route to overfry Delta's systems or absorption systems, but he doesn't really have to do that because he has things like a perfect Susanoo that can easily cleave mountains in half, like multiple mountains. So a feat like that in power and strength makes me believe that if Delta took one of those slices or slashes head on, that she would be crushed easily. Because she won't be able to absorb that. At least it hasn't been shown that you can absorb Susanoo. So unless that's something that it has been stated, I don't see her surviving an attack like that. And I think Madara's abilities, such as his Limbo clones that had the strength level to basically knock over Bijou easily, and it's implied that that's through physical attacks, not like jutsus or anything. So just straight up hand to hand, like just basic hits from his body, was able to knock over Bijou. And we haven't seen anything close to that with Delta, with their strength being on that level. Now, when it comes to their speed, Delta was able to deal with Naruto. She was able to kind of like even out with them. But like I said, this depends on how you interpret the Boruto series. And if you look at Naruto as faster than he was when he was in his prime as a kid, and I don't believe that he's faster than what he was as a kid. So to me, the feats of her being toe to toe with this version of Naruto is not greater than what Madara was able to do multiple times against Naruto and Sasuke, who is extremely fast and is known for his speed. Sasuke is known for his speed, and Madara was able to kind of like speed blitz him with his Limbo clone and basically kill Sasuke off. Had it not been for plot convenience, Sasuke would have died from that Limbo, attack, basically holding him there and then Madara cutting through him with his own sword. It was mad disrespectful when Madara did that, but he would have died there if it not for the plot convenience. So stuff like that, like the amount of speed that Madara has shown, and Madara basically, while he was blind, was able to dodge Sasuke's attacks through mere sensory. I'm not sure if that's because he absorbed Hashirama's Sage Mode into himself and acquired Sage Mode that way, and then he was able to dodge Sasuke's attacks. But Sasuke was trying to kill Madara, and eventually Madara either let himself get tagged by the sword, or, he got tagged by Sasuke. But the fact that he dodged so many attacks shows the speed levels that they were on. Now, granted, Sasuke definitely got faster with the 6 pass amp that he got from Hagoromo, as well as Naruto getting a speed amp 100%. But these speeds are ridiculous as well. Like I said, considering that Bijou mode was Naruto's main form before the 6 pass mode, and that was not hyped up to be faster than Madara in his base. And this isn't putting Madara with anything, basically like Sage Mode or anything like that. Just straight up Madara in base is able to fight against Tobirama as well, and basically able to like get the better of him in speed and hand-to-hand combat and stuff like that, and using those chakra rods that he had to basically immobilize him. So there's just many things that show that Madara is a ridiculously fast fighter, and anyone thinking that Delta just speed blitzes doesn't really look at, like I said, the only way to argue that is that you have to believe that Naruto and Sasuke got way faster. And in the case of Naruto, maybe Sasuke did, but in the case of Naruto, it was shown in the story that he had gotten rusty, and you would have to believe that he really just made grand jumps in power scaling in order to get higher than what he was during his prime years when he was, fighting with his six pass powers or fighting with his Biju mode and before that, and I just don't see that. So, as far as speed goes, I think it'd be a pretty even fight, and no one really has the advantage over the other. They're around similar to the same speed level, I would say. Now, the final thing to talk about really fast is their abilities. Delta's biggest advantage for her is that she has this like thing that can see invisible objects. This like drone that was able to see Boruto's vanishing Rasengan despite it being invisible. This is important because Madara has the Limbo clones, which to me is his biggest advantage. Other than the perfect Susanoo, on why he would probably win the fight. Now, granted that Delta has this ability, and this advantage, I do think that the moment that Madara figures out that Delta can see his stuff through the drone, his Limbo clones, he would easily just destroy the drone, and then the fight would go massively in Madara's favor. Now, Delta has a move which is her light beam attacks that are super fast. They're speed of light, basically. They're light itself. So these light beams, basically, if they hit you, they like destroy your cells or something like that. So you can't heal yourself if you have a healing factor. Now, this is very deadly for any Naruto character to get hit by, but Madara, like I said, Naruto in his Biju mode was able to dodge these beams. He wasn't able to travel fast enough to save Himawari, so his travel speed is not equal to his battle speed. This is made very clear. He is able to react and dodge these light beam attacks at least twice, I believe. One at a farther range, and the other one at almost point blank range. So, and this is Bijimo Naruto. Considering, again, if you're not putting Naruto into such a higher scale in Boruto, if he's similar to his speed in the War Arc, that means that Madara should be able to scale to this version of Naruto, so he would easily be able to dodge these attacks as well. And like I said, the difference of Madara is that with his abilities like his Susanoo or his Limbo clones, being able to make multiple versions of himself that are almost as strong, if not as strong as himself, should easily be able to destroy Delta in a surprise attack. Once he dodges these light beam attacks, because Delta didn't really just full on go on the offensive right after. She kind of took some time. Kind of surprised that Naruto was able to dodge these attacks, and if this was against someone like Madara that's not going to hesitate to destroy you and kill you, he's definitely going to destroy Delta in this situation, and she would be basically destroyed. And yeah, so overall, going through like all this stuff, I do believe that Madara would be Delta. I don't believe in this notion that Boruto characters are unstoppable and that the verse just straight up went off a cliff. I don't agree with that notion. I think Madara, when you look at what he was able to do, the potential he has as a character, had he not been taken out of the story the way that he did, his fight against Naruto and Sasuke and Sakura and Kakashi would have been ridiculous. Obito probably would have been part of it as well, as he was part of the Kaguya fight. But yeah, all of them working together against Madara with his two Rinnegan and his Rinne Sharingan as well, his third eye, would have been amazing. It would have been like on a whole other level. So we don't know Madara's full potential, but like I said, we're not talking about that version of Madara. We're just talking about him before the Tento Shinchuriki amp, when he became the Tento Shinchuriki, or basically the second or third stage of Sits Pass, the way you want to look at it. And yeah, but I do think Madara would win this fight. Do I think it'd be super easy? No way. Because Delta is very fast. Like I said, the fact that she was able to fight toe to toe with a Hokage Naruto, which, like I said, if you're gonna put him on a way higher level, then you can do that. I don't. I put him on a similar level to what he used to be, if not weaker, because of him being very rusty in the beginning of the story. And considering the time frame, you would have to believe, I think it's like 6 months of story that's in Boruto from the start to where we are now. You have to believe in about 6 months that Naruto powered up that much. He's just completely schooling his old self that we saw in the War Arc, and I just don't believe that. Now with the stuff Naruto went through, the feats that he showed, it's just ridiculous with the War Arc and what they did. And this is before the Six Pass powers, just with his Biju mode / Sage mode combined and stuff like that, like all the different things Naruto did and Sasuke, and especially Madara and the feats that he did during the war. I think Madara takes this fight. But leave a comment down below. What do you think of this fight? Do you think Madara would beat Delta? I didn't mention any Rinnegan abilities. We do know that with his Rinnegan, he was able to summon meteors. I guess that might be important to the fight. But I really think that the Limbo clones are the biggest factor on why he would win this fight. But yeah, there's a lot of things I didn't mention with Madara, such as his different nature styles, or his use of wood style, or his Sharingan abilities, or him using Genjutsu and stuff like that. I didn't think those things were important because I don't know if they work on Delta since she's a machine, I believe. So I don't think Genjutsu would work. And I really think that it would come down to hand and it would come down to him using his Limbo clones after destroying her drone that allows her to see invisible objects. It would just be too much in Madara's favor, unless she speed blitzed him, which I don't believe would happen, and would take him out in one shot or stuff like that. I don't believe it would be a quick fight, and I think as more that it prolongs the fight, the more it goes in Madara's favor, and he would ultimately win the battle. But that's to be all, guys. Until next time, be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think, and let me know on what combat character you would like to see go against the Narutoverse. If you haven't already, go check out my playlist for those videos. It'll be at the end card, at the very end of the video. So go check out those videos. They're very fun, and I love making them. And I have other versus battles that are coming out pretty soon. If you're new to the channel, my main thing I do on the channel is basically I review trade paperback / volume reviews of comic books. Right now we're focusing on Spider-Man's original stories, so we've already gone through the original run and we're jumping into the next run in either tomorrow or today. But that's gonna be all, guys. Until next video, God bless you. Until next lesson, keep on reading those comics.